Who's buried in Midian?
Ain't nothing but dead folk.
Nightbreed was written and directed by Clive Barker, the legend behind Hellraiser, and is an adaptation of his book Cabal. When Aaron Boone is haunted by nightmares of a society of monsters, he turns to a shrink for help. This shrink, however, is secretly a serial killer and frames Aaron for a series of murders. After he is killed by police, Aaron is brought back by the monsters from his nightmares called the Nightbreed, who have a society under a graveyard. The psychiatrist in this film is played by the legendary David Cronenberg, who directed the film The Shrouds earlier this year, and I highly recommend watching it. He is always so unassuming in this role. He never really raises his voice, and despite everything that is happening, never seems to lose the same facial expression of passive indifference. The mask he wears when he is hunting people to kill reminds me of Scarecrow's mask in Batman Begins. I really don't know why the serial killer subplot is in this film, or I guess I should say main plot, but seeing David Cronenberg killing a bunch of random people is fun to see just from the perspective of a horror fan. The main character, Aaron, is played by Craig Sheffer, who I initially saw in the film A River Runs Through It. He has a girlfriend in the film named Lori. She is determined to help the person she loves in this plight with the death he is battling. The plot of the film is a little all over the place and doesn't form into a fully cohesive narrative, but it doesn't matter. The monsters and effects are the stars of this picture. If you want a full breakdown on the history of this film, please check out the video about it made by Joe Blow Horror Originals. He gets into all of the different versions of the film that have made the rounds over the years and gets into its production history. I'm not going to do that in this video, I just want to talk about the film. For the record, I am reviewing the director's cut, but I have seen the theatrical version and the Cabal cut as well. And boy, oh boy, are they messy as fuck. So when we meet the Nightbreed, they first come off as antagonistic. One of them is just a red demon with these weird dreadlock skin things on his and bites our main character. It's to make us think that they are hideous creatures and we should be afraid of them. But we learn throughout the movie they are actually a very peaceful group of monsters who just basically want to be left alone, or whatever dead people do. But no one in this film will leave them the hell alone. One of them has a group of snake things that pop out of his stomach on command, one has a head where his stomach should be, and the leader is played by the one and only legendary Doug Bradley, who played Pinhead for like the last 85 years. So seeing him be someone other than the character that made him famous was fun to watch. You get to see the society of the Nightbreed underground named Midian, and it is almost as if Zion from the Matrix was crossed with all the monsters in the game Undertale in its appearance. The set design in this movie is unbelievable for a lower budget film. All of the makeup effects are obviously done practically since the movie came out in 1990. There's a young girl in the group of monsters that help give the humanity needed for us to sympathize with them. There's a long section where we are shown basically the entire civilization in a long scene that lasts multiple minutes. We see these monsters doing what seems like normal life stuff, or I guess I should say death stuff. And it helps us see that they are a community we are supposed to sympathize with. I can't compliment the look of this movie enough. There is a weird story going on around the society of monsters, and not all of it makes sense. At one point, the psychiatrist gives our main character a prescription of lithium, but it turns out to be LSD. He also tortures a guy at a gas station for some reason. It's supposed to be him inquiring about the Nightbreed, but we never understand why he wants to learn about the Nightbreed, let alone lead police and groups of people to fight them. I guess me not understanding why this serial killer is doing what he's doing is on me, because those fuckers make no sense in why they do the things they do. He has frequent meetups with a detective who played Captain Panaka in The Phantom Menace. Just a random trivia for you. The relationship between our main character and his girlfriend is basic, but I guess likable enough that you want them to be together, be happy, be safe. But the problem is you are so enamored with all the wild monster stuff going on, it kind of takes a back seat as a result. I would say the film is kind of wobbly and has way too many side plots, but eventually all converges toward a finale that is some of the most epic shit you will see. It's all out war between the monsters and humans, and there's stuff being blown up all over the place. My favorite character is actually a guy our hero meets at a hospital who begins scalping his own head in a gnarly sequence. Once he is more prominent in the second half of the movie, he provides the story with some much needed levity and energy. The rules of how the Nightbreed can die are never really fully explained. Some can die just from sunlight, some can die from gunshot wounds, but not all of them. It's a little inconsistent with its own rules, but once we get into the war at the end of the film, we really don't give a crap. We hear about these dark monsters that lurk in the lower areas of Midian at various points in the movie, and we get to see what they look like in the end, and holy crap, they are some of the best monster designs from that time frame. I won't spoil what they look like, just know that you are in for a treat. For some strange reason, the psychiatrist decides to go all serial killer mode again in the last act, even knowing he is surrounded by a bunch of cops and monsters. I do not understand what his motivation is, and I've said that multiple times now, but I can't help but be boggled by how weirdly this guy is written with the rest of the plot. There's a priest that randomly shows up and declares Midian a sacred ground or something like that. I don't know why he's there either, but even with these confusing things, I ultimately don't give a shit. Nightbreed is a good-ass horror film with a strong cult following that I recommend everyone to check out. I only brought up the inconsistency in this video because I want to prepare you for how fucking weird the film is, but it is a good weird. Clive Barker has always been known as having a crazy imagination with monsters and has no problem bringing them to life in these weird, messed up ways that make us go, what the hell do you dream about, my guy? If you haven't seen Nightbreed, I recommend it highly. Try and make sure you watch the director's cut if you can. I think it might be the primary version available now, but just to be sure, I thought I'd bring it up. Great monster design, a fucking score by Danny Elfman, which I didn't even mention, and a likable enough couple make this a fun watch. There is a great scene at a police station that I think is goddamn hilarious. Check this film out this Halloween season. It is worth your spooky time. I give Nightbreed 3.5 stars out of 4. It is incomprehensible at times, and has a villain that seems detached from the story in strange ways, but the monster design, set design, and last 30 minutes give it an epic feel that will leave you satisfied. And that is my review. Please stick around for the rest of the month for more horror films that I'm going to talk about. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this, please like and subscribe. Here's links to my other videos. Follow me on social media if you like. And until next time, I am Ghost.